Hello! So I'm sure most of us at this point are making our way through the final journey part 2 castle event. At the moment I have just gotten on to level 4 of the event, but then we're going to start earning tons and tons of event currency from this point onwards. But one of the important things about completing these events is completing it as quickly as possible, or more so, finding the keys as quickly as you can so that you can move on to the next level. And so I have actually, with the help of our friend Silverwings, we have calculated the recommended chest routes for every single level in the current event. So we've got level 2, we've got level 3, level 4, 5 and 6. And each of these are labelled with the actual chest that you should go for first, second, third, fourth and 5th, with the costings next to them, and this does take into account shared tiles and things like that. So of course we've got level 2, which most of us will already be finished with at the moment, but it's actually cheaper to go for the bottom chest first because that costs 1027 and then continue on. And then the rest of level 2 is pretty simple because, like on this map here, you can see that we just go to chest number 2 and then chest number 3, and they're all sort of on the way through the map as you go. So if we enter level 2 in the game, you know, it would have been cheaper for us to try and get the key in this chest first, but obviously we didn't find it in our first chest anyway. And then you go through, open this chest, then you open the next one that you come up to, the next one that you come up to. So it all sort of makes sense in a way, how it's just like a big snaking path. But then on to level 3, this is where your choices are going to start mattering, because there's actually a major difference in the amount of cost in some of these chests. So for example, on level 3, before I calculated this, I ended up going to the middle chest first. But that is actually the 3rd chest that we'd recommend that you go to. Instead, when you first come out of level 3, it's better to go to the left and directly to the bottom left. Because this chest here, that path itself costs 1100 plus 400 in shared tiles. So you can clear that one super quick, and then if you go to the right on the left hand side, that one's also 1372, so pretty cheap as well. And then you go on to the right side, so you'd go to the chest closest to the starting point, then you go right and right again to this chest, which is number 4, and then the 5th chest is 1800 event currency, which is really quite expensive. So essentially, if we're going to start from the starting tile, you start here, you're going to walk over here, go left to this chest, go up to this chest, you're going to come back round, hit this chest, which is the opposite way around to what I did, and then we're going to go right to this chest, and then the most expensive chest is along the spooky lava bridge, and this is it. So hopefully you won't have to open this one until the end of the event. So that is level 3. Then moving on to level 4. This one's also quite a complicated level. We do use the same sort of idea as we did in part 1 of the castle event, because there's sort of a big square in the middle of the map, and you don't need to hit every single tile to finish off the level. So there are some tiles on the right of the square that you're not going to actually ever pass over. So from what you can see on here, we start on this sort of bottom right, we go up, and then the cheapest chest is the one directly south, because that one's going to cost 2022. Then after that, the next cheapest chest is the one directly to the left at 1800. But then the 3rd cheapest chest is the one on top, so directly up, costing 1481. And then the chest number 4 is the one on the left-ish, and then the most expensive chest is the one on the right. So again, if we go in-game for this, then if we go on level 4, the route that I'm going to take is we're going to go up here, because these are all shared tiles, and then we're going to go left and down. That's going to be our first chest. Then we're going to go left, pass through these tiles, and then we're not going to take these bottom tiles, we're going to hit this tile, and then pass over the 3 fights, because then we won't have to spend event currency, hit this chest, and then we're going to go through these 3 tiles and go up towards this chest, and then we're going to go over here through this direct path to that chest, and then we're going to go all the way back around and then come back to this chest. So these tiles on the side here, you will never have to hit these. So don't ever pass over those. And same with the ones that are next to the battles here. Unless you can't do the fights, don't ever pass through these tiles. They're pointless tiles. You don't need to pass through them. So that's more or less the end for the complicated levels. I hope it does make sense to everyone. So then moving on to level 5, which I can't show you in game because I'm not up to there yet. This is actually an interesting level because it's sort of just a mirror of itself. So you can see, using the screenshot here, that the middle chest is 2,372, which is by far the cheapest chest on level 5. And then, after you hit this chest, it doesn't matter whether you go left, or you go right, or which part of this map you're up to, every single remaining chest costs 4,550 currency to unlock. So, on level 5, after you've gone to the middle chest, it actually doesn't matter what way you're gonna go because it's all gonna cost the same anyway. So you can just not worry about it at all on level 5. Just go to the chests. Simple as that. So then moving on to level 6. Now this map is huge. It's really similar to level 2 in that sense, how it's lots of big windy paths, but the chest that you're going to want to go to first on level 6 is going to be the one in the furthest north section. So you can just go up from the starting point and then you're going to cross through a lot of shared pathways. But the one in the north is 4,355 for that pathway on its own. Plus all the shared tiles is 4,646. So that's obviously going to come to a lot more than 4,300, but it's the cheapest when we take into account all of the shared tiles. So you'd be going north first. Then, taking into account that we've already spent the currency on the shared tiles, the next cheapest path is going to be the one furthest to the top left. That is going to be this one on the far left. So that's 7,947 event currency. So, after you clear that far left one, we'll go back to sort of the beginning, or when we start to go back to the changing sections, and then going to the bottom right is the third cheapest chest, sitting at 8,321 event currency, and then the last two chests on the left and the the top right hand section, they pretty much cost exactly the same, being 9,000 and 9,003. So if that 3 currency is really gonna make any difference to you, I guess you can make sure you prioritize the dark purple route, but after the first 3, the others really aren't, they're just gonna be the same cost. So as long as you remember middle / top first, top left, and then bottom right is the first 3 you're gonna open, and then the other 2, that doesn't really matter what order you do them in. So, of course, these are very long maps, but as we progress in the event, we will actually be able to earn a lot more event currency, and on level 6, we'll be able to earn 850 points for every single quest. And a few people did some calculations with these maps, and apparently it takes 22 resets to complete the game, or complete the whole of DML. No, I'm talking about the Final Journey Part 2. I'm not sure if that includes finding the key in the last chest on every level, or if it includes finding in the 4th chest on every level, but I've heard around about 22 out of 28 resets are required to finish this event. And considering that level 5 and level 6 you're going to have to be earning lots and lots of event currency, you know, it's going to be asking quite a lot of the players, especially if you're a lower level player. So that's why you should be prioritizing going to the cheapest paths first, every time. Because it doesn't matter if, say, this chest here, we know that this is the more expensive chest, there isn't a higher chance of you finding the key in that chest. If that's happened to you before, that's just random, that just happened to happen. That's not how it works, because it's every time you open a chest, it rolls. And say there's a 20% chance of you finding the key in this chest, you open the chest, you don't get the key. That would have happened regardless of which path you were on. It still would have done the same roll, it still would have been the same percent, So it's just based on how many chests you've already opened on that level. So don't listen to the people that try and tell you, well, go for the really expensive chests first because, you know, they're more likely to have the key. It's not true. And remember, the location of the keys in every level is random. It's completely random. So make sure that you keep that in mind as well. So for anyone that is still struggling with knowing what to breed for this event, I did go through this a little bit yesterday, but the wiki always is a fantastic resource for this time, because if we go to the Final Journey Part 2's event page, because there's always going to be an event page, you can find this by going to the DML Wiki's main page, scrolling down, and in the ongoing events you'll see that there's a link to the Final Journey Part 2. So this is what you want. So then it tells us the minimum amount of orbs that it's going to take to finish every level. So level 6 is going to take 43,000, level 5 is going to take 20,000, and of course this is all assuming that you have the elements to complete every fight in the event. Not everyone's going to have it, in which case the path that you take on each level will change. But if you're someone like me that has all the elements that they need, then the paths that I've just shown you for these levels are the cheapest. So, in terms of collecting food, the food that I really recommend is 6-hour food to sort of keep you in time with the event. You can use spring cherries for the first couple of resets or for the first couple of levels, but after that, spring cherries, you're going to struggle a lot. So I really recommend using 6-hour food. There's a cheap version and the expensive version of 6-hour food as well. Or you can also plant, say, in half of your farms 6-hour food, and then in the other half 1-day food. And then every single time you collect from one of those farms, that's going to be 469 points. So essentially you can just clear out an entire reset just by clicking on a farm twice. So that's another method that some people use, but those are the points that you get for 15 farms based on the food. So then the breeding section, you know, the DML Wiki has this very, very useful table here which shows you for the breed time how many points you can get. So for example, if we're going up to 750 points, you'll notice that there's no dragons actually recommended, and that's because there's no singular breed in the game that's going to get you 750 plus points. So realistically we should be looking at 850 points because that's going to be the final tier's requirement. So realistically you do need a second breeding den for that. So if we were going to go for 850 points, well then we'd say pick a combo that's worth, I don't know, 416 points, and a combo that's worth, you know, the 500 points. So technically we could put in like a shard dragon and a jungle dragon, because that would get us 100% of the points for that reset. Or you can just sort of work it out based on where you are in the event, how many points you will need at that point. So, you know, for 750, you could put together an 8-hour breed with a 10-hour breed. So put a Lumino in one breeding den, put a Solar Dragon in the second breeding den. And that's going to get you the points for that reset. -1. But, you know, that's what this table is really, really good for. It shows you the combo, or the dragon that you might want to breed, the combination to get it, and the other dragons that could possibly be bred. But, you know, in general, I highly recommend you use the DML Wiki's page. This is a fantastic table, and of course all of the maps are shown with the required elements for each battle. So for example, if we go to level 6, you can see that in a majority of these levels you'll have to use the light element. There's also a lot of ancient, plant, and legendary allowed in these fights as well, but a lot of light on level 6. And then in level 5 we actually don't have too many elements here, and it's kind of random, but a lot of divine, and again sort of shadow, light, plant, and energy mainly. So hopefully you've got the dragons for those battles. And again, level 4, lots of divine. Divine's available in like 50% of the battles, and then aside from that there's like 5 elements allowed in each fight. But anyway, those are all the levels that is my advice to you today. I hope that this helps you to finish off the event nice and quick and that you can get all the dragons that you want. You know, Nez has a fantastic defensive dragon. Chrono Changi is a really decent high damage divine with shadow and fire. So I do hope that you get everything that you want. And even if you don't get those, at least get Badjiao Gui. It's a weird, strange name. But anyway, for now, I appreciate you being here. I hope this helped, and if you want a physical version of all of this stuff, then you can also join the Discord server, because this is in the pinned messages tab in the DML chat. You can see they're all posted here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you want a physical version of the maps, join the Discord server, download them, use them. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope that you have a good day, and until next time, I hope to see you then.